So you guys may have heard of this guy called the Fifth Seal, and he's posted a couple of videos of saying like 1-1 sensitivity is meta, and then another one called 4-4 sensitivity is meta. We know that 1-1 sensitivity is a little bit of a joke because 1-1 is really not practical at all, but the one that he plays in usually, and I see a lot of people using, and kind of like the more main meta that he's talking about, is the 4-4 sensitivity, and that's the one that we're going to be talking about today. Just I do want to tell you guys, I'm going to talk to you guys about like good things and bad things, and at the end, is it actually meta? Because I do believe sometimes his way of showing things isn't all that correct. Just like he posts a game of him doing good and then saying that it's meta, but it's kind of, you have to take that with a grain of salt. The same thing when the big popular YouTubers like Swag post a gun that we all know is garbage and they say it's meta because they got a good game with it. Having a good game with it does not mean that it is going to be meta. Having a good game with it does not mean that you should switch your settings. So let me tell you guys some good things about having low sensitivity that are actually science-based, fact-based. Number one is it actually does help you control your recoil and improve your aim. But how does it actually do this? People just say 4-4, use this, it's meta. But why does it actually help you? Why is it actually easier? Well, reason being, if you think about it, it's pretty simple. If you use high sensitivity, there is way less margin of error. Let's say that you're aiming at a guy in front of you and you've got 20/20 sensitivity and you move your finger to the right, up or down, whatever it is that you're aiming, just a fraction tiny bit more than you should. Well, it's going to move significantly because you are on 20/20 sensitivity. Now, if we take a look at the other hand, if you're playing on 4-4, you have to move your finger a lot more for your player to perform that in the screen. This translates into you have more margin of error. Even if you move your finger a little bit more or a little bit less, it's not going to affect it as much as if you would move your finger a little bit more with the 20/20 sense. Same goes with recoil control. It is definitely a lot easier. And from my testing with 4-4, I definitely did notice this. Like my gunfights were definitely a lot easier. Let me just explain this a little bit. They're a lot easier. The people that were in front of me and that weren't moving from side to side or going around me, all right? A simple gunfight straight ahead, right in front of me was definitely a lot easier. I could control the recoil a lot easier. I could track the guy a lot better. Definitely no problem with that. It is really, really good. But now let's get into the nitty gritty. Why don't I play with 4-4 sensitivity? Why don't I think it is meta? I play with 9-9 sensitivity, all right? And I don't think that, I think that's a perfect sensitivity. And again, I mentioned this before, but thanks to the control freaks, they allowed me to increase it just a little bit. From playing with the 4-4 sensitivity, I have a fairly high KD in this game. So sometimes I do get put in sweaty lobbies. Not sometimes, I mean most of the time. My KD usually varies in the past 100 games between around like a 3.5 to a 4 KD. That's what I get most of the times in a good week in the past 100 games. And then when I play with my friends and I get people that are around also 2 KD, I play with people that are fairly good. So what I noticed when I was using 4-4 sensitivity is that when you're playing in the sweatier lobbies, it is really, really hard to play with this. Yes, you can control your aim a lot easier. I don't think I aimed a lot better than when I was in 9-9 sensitivity. Yes, like I said before, it was definitely pretty easy to aim with 4-4, but again, it wasn't like I didn't miss a single shot compared to when I was in 9-9. Because also, me being in 9-9 sensitivity, remember that one of the most important things that I do feel that he didn't really talk about isn't really the sensitivity in general, the horizontal and vertical sensitivity. I think one of the most important ones, especially when you're talking about aiming and really the whole point of it, which is, you know, not missing that a lot of shots and being able to control the recoil, is the ADS sensitivity. I do believe that's a lot more important than the horizontal and vertical. But the 4-4 horizontal and vertical was just really, really slow when I was playing in these sweatier lobbies. Like, you get a lot of people that are beaming you from everywhere. You get a lot of people that, yes, I understand that you don't need high sensitivity because if they're shooting you from behind, you're just gonna turn around 180 them. Like, it did happen. I did die so many times because I just couldn't turn fast enough and the guys were beaming me from behind. And I don't even mean just I died because I didn't turn fast enough to contest them. You know, I was gonna 180 him and then beam him to the head. No, I just mean like turning around to go for cover, turning around to get my enemy, turning around maybe to see where he's at and crouch. Just that. I don't mean the 180, you know, and beam the guy. No, I just mean general gameplay. I also thought that I died quite a bit of times. Like, for example, if you're in close quarter situations, I think this is where 4-4 is definitely gonna hurt you significantly. It is just virtually impossible if you're playing in 4-4 and you're in a close quarter fight, and let's say a guy is in the floor above you and he jumps out of that window and he jumps above you, or let's say he jumps out of that door that it's right in front of you, right, and he just flies over there. It is impossible for you to win that fight. You are not going to turn fast enough. I guarantee that. I don't care what he said about, you know, it's not too, you will not. All right, there is just hands down, you will not win that gunfight if the guy's above you and he just jumps right over you. And he already knows you're there and he's shooting you in the air while he's going down. You will never win that gunfight unless that guy is the biggest potato you've ever seen in your life and he misses every single bullet of the gunfight. I could bet anybody $1,000 that he could put 4-4 sensitivity and I jump out of the window, and while he's aiming straight, he will never win that gunfight. Never. And that's one of the things that, again, like I was noticing when I was playing the higher tier gameplay, a lot of these things do happen. You get people sweaty that are going in cars and then all of a sudden they drop and they b-hop. You get people jumping, going through the doors while jumping, and kind of like, you know, where they take that like speed boost and they try to pass you to the door so they can kind of like shoot you from behind. That happens significantly in here, and I just feel that a game like Warzone, where you got multiple like floors, where you got ground floor, middle floor, windows, doors, people jumping over you, and it does happen a lot of times, I do feel that 4-4 was definitely way too slow. And again, it goes down to the same ADS sensitivity. I go to 9.9 because I feel that's really good, but then when it comes to my ADS sensitivity, I definitely do have it a little bit lower than, I don't have 1.1, I don't have 0.1 or when it comes to the ADS sensitivity. I bring it down all the way to like 0.65, and my ADS high zoom is like 0.75. So my normal horizontal and vertical sensitivity is 9.9 because I feel that's a pretty good way to go. I think anything between 6.6, 7.7, 8.8, 9.9 is a pretty good way to go. But then again, where the aiming comes and the controlling the recoil, it is all about the ADS sensitivity and not the sensitivity in general. So after this, let me tell you my final thoughts. If you guys don't really play in any sweaty lobbies, right? You've got an around 1 KD, you've got below a 1 KD, you play with your friends that are around that area, and you don't face that many sweaties, maybe once in a while, right? But you don't see that many. Then I would say you can play in 4-4, right? That's going to be perfectly fine for you. You're not going to miss that many shots. You know, people aren't jumping over you. People aren't going sweaty. That, you know, it don't happen. So you can use 4-4 sensitivity and you'll definitely be good, right? You will definitely play better. You'll definitely hit more shots. You'll definitely get more kills. But if you get a lot of sweaty players and you're starting to play into higher tier lobbies and playing with all these guys that are really good, 4-4 sensitivity, it's just, it's really going to be slow. All right, don't really pay attention to because one game they did correctly. Really trust me on this one, that I've tried a lot of sensitivities. I've had 4-4, I've had 6s, I've had control freaks, I've had no control freaks. I've played on mouse. I played Call of Duty for 10-15 years, not even kidding you. And believe me when I say this, the 4-4 is just a little bit too slow when you're going into the higher tier gameplays. If you face against a sweaty person in your 4-4 and he speed runs through that door or he jumps over you, you are a dead man. Even the 9.9 sensitivity, sometimes I lose those gunfights. So let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about this? Peace out, everybody. I'll see you all on the next one.